Alrighty, good evening everybody, and welcome back to Simtrax Broadcasting as we are here on this fine and beautiful Wednesday night with the Bandit Racing League. Five Flags Speedway is what we've got lined up for you guys today as qualifying is getting ready to begin. We'll go ahead and kind of break it down of what this race is going to be looking like here right at the beginning. 150 laps will be for you guys. We'll be running 100% fuel limit, and 3 sets of tires will be down there in the pit. Yeah, they're kind of sticking to that number of 3 sets of tires. Seems to be that nice sweet spot where guys can get the tires on and back off. Does not seem to be harming Johnathan Platt at all, but we'll talk about him here in just a little bit. Modified a little bit of fixed setup here, so they have gone ahead and squared the cars away just a little bit to make them a little bit easier to drive. Practice race last night actually went to Bill Harkins. He actually was pretty quick out there, and he's going to be looking to do much of the same here tonight. I'll be your lead producer and commentator, and Dalton Kilroe doing his best out there as RC. Hopefully they'll be able to get this race not under caution here tonight. I know Dalton Kilroe has a little bit of qualifying he's got to do out there in a Formula series. I believe he is racing in some supercars out there. Going to be excited to see how he can do. Definitely check out his stream after this broadcast and check in to see how he's doing out there. All right, check that out. This track has a whole lot of things that a lot of drivers really get excited about here. Half mile, 120 degrees out there on the track, nice concrete barriers, definitely super wide, and a lot more banking than we had last week, where that was extremely tough. Drivers started getting very collected up out there, and it was almost impossible to see guys just sticking to the track and being able to be a full-time run. But take a look at some of our qualifying times out there. No problem there for Curtis Yancey hitting that #1 spot. Will be honestly hard to see Johnathan Platt not take that away from him, though. Right now, here is Platt sitting crossing the line here as he gets his first lap underway. 4 laps they will have in qualifying, so they'll be able to go ahead and knock down just a few more here and there. Nick Nickerson, no surprise there, sitting second, but boy, circle Bob Berry and Bill Harkins and the new driver Rust Allen. Currently, that is 4, 5, and 6 as Johnathan Platt goes ahead and yanks it right off that top run. And he does not even continue finishing all 4 laps. He goes ahead and knocks down his first lap, and he's done. Wow. Everybody else going ahead and ticking off a few more. We have 2 drivers left to go. Eddie Hagge out there on the track. We're waiting for him to get a time down out there in the Magathy Consulting, as his 97 machine is getting around the track here. And Ricky Hart, we're still waiting for Ricky Hart to get out there onto the track. And rooting on out there. Appreciate you guys out there in the chat. Going ahead and chatting it up with me here out there, guys. I appreciate it. We are solely running the Wednesday League here. Robin Allen is going to be rooting on somebody, seeing that Victor Weaver is not going to be on the track here tonight. So the NOS machine is sitting back in the trailer, actually heading to the next race. Which unfortunately weren't able to make it this run, but that's all right. We'll be able to get back out here and try it again. So Thompson Speedway is when we'll see him. And that's, I'm sure, when Action Jackson will return. We'll hopefully see how he is doing. Hate to see him missing so many races, only being able to participate half of the year, so part-time drivers in and out. Still waiting on Ricky Hart out there in the 28, as Eddie Hagge is comfortably sitting in 12th. A little slide out of 4. But he is able to recover, but does not completely recover the car. Eddie Hagge will have a top 10 start. Great job there, Justin Zemecki. We'll see if Ricky Hart, I'd give him the countdown here. I think he's got 45 seconds. He's not going to be able to even put down his first lap even after the warm-up, so we'll keep our eye on race control to go ahead and push it on through. No sense there, continuing to mark it on down. I know they're considering, I think, having a warm-up here right at the beginning. That'll be included with the driver's meeting. A lot of things they do have to go over out there. I know Kevin Foster going ahead and making sure everything is A-OK. Guys, if you were considering joining the Bandit Racing League, there is nothing stopping you from joining now, even though it's not too late. I would say if Johnathan Platt, I think, lets go of the wheel, he'll be perfectly fine until week 9. And that's when we actually head to USA International. He should be out there far enough that currently his laps led up to this point are staggering here so far for Johnathan Platt. This dude cannot be beat, but goes down there, lays down a flat-out time super fast. And we'll see if we can weigh back and forth whether or not they are going to have the opportunity to fight their way back to the front. Now, race control is talking to these guys down there about the incident limit that is going to be at 22. Maximum is 40 before they end up getting disqualified out there. Some of you guys, the racers, will understand. But at 22, then they will begin serving drive-through penalties. We had a few black flags definitely last week. And, yeah, definitely they had to clean up their act, having an extreme amount of trouble from the drivers out here. They've got to keep this race clean as they scramble each and every week to get this thing squared away. I know it's definitely double trouble out there for these guys, praying that they get some sort of caution-free race. We'll admit Robin Allen out there, when even Patsy Steele has seen the ups and the downs here of this league. We actually took these guys to Bristol at one point in the past couple of seasons and went caution-free for almost 200 laps. I don't know what the heck, but then we get to a small track like this and we can't seem to get any less than 15, so we'll definitely be holding our breath here to get this one kind of ramped up. Drivers are getting pretty excited about this track, and I think what gets me the most is how many drivers are so excited about tonight before they head to Thompson Speedway, which is going to be tricky, as a lot of guys have been fast. I already mentioned Bill Harkins had the opportunity out there and won the Tuesday night race. He's going to be starting in the 5th spot here tonight. Kevin Foster's feeling pretty good here about what Five Flags has been bringing to these guys. And Robin Allen out there is even saying Nickerson has to be able to take Platt. Well, right now, you know, there are 3 guys, well, maybe 4. I would say 100% has the opportunity. I think Platt is going to get a few bent panels on this one. Right now, with the bounty still out on Platt, they're going ahead and throwing, I believe, $20 out there for somebody to squash this guy. Seeing that he has gone 4 in a row, lining up for the 5th here tonight. If he can, he'll be starting in that number 1 spot, and extremely hard to take that front spot. But the 4 guys, I would say Curtis Yancey, right off the bat, as long as he's got a good qualifying position, he's going to have his shot to go ahead and run him down. I would also say Nickerson was another one. Action Jackson was another. But somebody else that we're not putting into consideration was last week when we saw Eddie Hagee. Eddie Hagee actually had the opportunity to put the nose right underneath the rear bumper and pick him up and turn him around there, but he said he decided not to and is kicking himself because he didn't. Now, I don't know if Eddie Hagee in the 97 machine that we saw a little bit of his qualifying time out there, if that is going to be the case here. If you're going to see a lot of these guys not checking up. I think Johnathan Platt is able to control the race once he's out front. He's able to continue his speed. He's able to continue the roll. He's able to check up. I mean, we even broke down some of his race last time we looked. And on the exit of the turns, he lets off the gas, which caused the accordion effect, and that's where Nickerson keeps getting into the second-place driver, whether that be Yancey or whether that being Brandon Jackson. So I think if you were, instead of Johnathan Platt, if he's getting to run the race that he wants, if these guys start pushing him around, give him a little roughhousing, I think we're going to see a completely different race. Now, I would much rather, period, I would much rather see this race go where it ends up with a few cautions out there on the, for Johnathan Platt getting turned. I'm not saying I want somebody to go out there and dump this guy and put him into the wall. But if he ends up getting pushed around a lot and ends up facing the field, let's say no damage or gets a little bit there on the right rear quarter panel, and is able to see this guy fight through traffic. I have yet to see this guy fight through traffic at all. So how can we come to race 5? This guy's run almost 500 laps here and has never had to fight through traffic. You know, I think that would be another thing is, you know, you start getting that morale boost that you need from these guys. Somebody needs to send this guy into the wall. And, you know, I know Dale Earnhardt would have done it. I think if you guys tuned into Simtrax Broadcasting, you would have seen another driver out there in the open wheels, Caden Tufts. He was another driver that just could not be beat. He would go out there, but I saw him fight through traffic. And that guy was able to maintain and come back. But it was 9th place, and they were only about quarter-mile tracks. We are putting a lot more power under these cars and trying to see how well they are going to do. But I think one of these things here tonight is going to be, you know, really pressing out there if they are or if they're not going to be the strong guys out there. So we'll grab a hold of the number 2 out there where Nick Nickerson is, and we are expecting Nickerson to not play real nice here tonight. Nickerson, talk to me a little bit about what's going on out there, what's going through your mind, seeing that Platt is back on the pole yet again.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to expect, just kind of see how this goes. I didn't really get as much practice as I would have liked to. I didn't get to run the practice race last night either. And I felt like I had a pretty good qualifying there. It's just for some reason during qualifying, like turn 1 just was really pushy. I don't know if maybe the winds changed or something. So I had just like a little bit of an issue with turn 1, but I don't know, man. We'll see how this race goes. If I get up there, I'm going to get in the front I'm going to try to get in the front as hard as possible. We got a little more banking to play with. Hopefully we have a couple more lines to mess around with to try to make some moves and passes, but we'll just have to see. I don't know what the racing is going to be like just yet.
Well, everybody else is considering, and we even talked to Eddie Hagge last week. Third place definitely seems to be your qualifying position here so far this season. Some guys are kicking themselves they're not roughhousing out there with Johnathan Platt. You know, I don't think he would even hate you if you ended up nudging him out there, but it seems, Nick, you keep nudging the guy in second, though. What is it going to take for you to give Johnathan Platt a little bit of something to think about?
Well, you know, it's kind of a hard game to play because if I just try to, you know, force my way up to the front, I'm going to burn my tires up before I get there. So I'm just trying to, I don't know, man. I'm still just kind of figuring this whole thing out. I know Platt likes to kind of save his tires a little bit, and he kind of stacks the field up a little bit, and that's kind of helps me get to the front. But we'll see. We'll see how we play with new tires, right? Like if I'm in 3rd place and have an opportunity to come get fresh tires, and I'm definitely going to do it and see if I can sling around the outside for, I don't know. I'm just kind of BSing here, man.
I know. Well, I was going to kind of poke you because you tried that last week and the week prior. You've offset it, but you end up burning your stuff up when you fly through the field. I would say it almost seems like the first 15 laps are the most critical. As soon as you're on fresh tires, you've got to get in front of him. And once you're in front of him, then you can control the race. And that's what unfortunately keeps stacking you up and getting you these incident points here, Nick, is you get behind Johnathan, and he stacks it up. You get into the back of Yancey, you get into the back of Brandon Jackson. And I mean, it wasn't your fault. It was an accordion effect that was happening in front of you. So, I mean, I think I just kind of poke here a little bit saying this is maybe your race, you know, to come away with $20, number 1, to come, you know, to beat Johnathan Platt. But, you know, you got to get that nose out there in front of him, seeing that you're going to be starting right behind this guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hard part too, right? Because I'm trying to stay as close as possible to the guy in front of me in case he makes like a little error of some sort. But when he has to lift and I have no time to react, especially when it's like corner exit, you know? So I don't know. I hate that it keeps happening, but we'll see, man. I'll just try to give it our best shot.
All right, man. Nick, I got a feeling I'll talk to you a little later on tonight, so maybe, go and give me your shout-outs here just for a little bit.
Man, just everybody that's racing tonight, Bill and Kevin, all the admins, man, and good old Perfect Shine Auto Spa. Let's put on a good one.
Beautiful. All right, Nick. Good luck out there, man. We were definitely going to see how you fare here tonight.
talk to you soon.
Good luck. All right, we'll throw Nickerson up there with the GFR team that he is getting ready to roll here in just a moment. About another 15 seconds. Another driver I would like to poke there a little bit is Curtis Yancey. I know Curtis during the drivers' meeting and during this time, he definitely tries to set himself up. I would say, like, get a game face on, get ready to roll, because he has got his work cut out for him here tonight. He's got a lot of drivers that are pretty hungry, though, that would love to see if they could fight up to the front, where I was talking earlier about Bill Harkins, who will be sitting in that 5th position, and a couple of new guys out there. Right now I'm looking at Rust Allen out there. I'm waiting to see how he can do, if he can knock down a solid time. But it's going to be difficult. I would say it's going to be a lot harder than any other race, seeing this is such a favorable track. This being the home of the Snowball Derby out there, these guys have really got to question their run here tonight, or whether or not they are going to press early. Nickerson, I would put my money on that guy to really start giving a shove. But Curtis Yancey, I think he's got enough of a psycho mentality to go ahead and push these guys up to the front, as he'll be starting to the outside with that beautiful paint scheme I see out there. I love the reflective numbers. Definitely makes it easy for us to see, and you guys as well. So we'll keep you guys apprised of what is going on out there, and we'll kind of we'll get this going here. What do you say we go ahead and... Yep, we'll do it. We'll do this one. We'll do this one. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting grid here for tonight, when these guys are getting ready to go here on the track. I talked earlier about Johnathan Platt in the 43. He'll be starting in that number 1 position next to the 51 of Curtis Yancey. Nick Nickerson starts in our 3rd position next to Bob Berry, who's in the 75. He'll be looking to get a good run. Now, Bob wasn't able to get as much practice time either, so he's going to have his work cut out for him as he's sitting on the outside. Bill Harkins starts row number 3 to the inside. Rust Allen, it moves up to the 6th position, I believe, out here in the 58 machine. Kevin Foster, another driver from our Perfect Shine Auto Spa GFR Racing team, he's sitting there in 7th. Ethan Sikorsky in the crunchy roll. We'll wait to see how Ethan Sikorsky can do. Right now, I think he's talked to RC more than his own team, as he's had nothing but problems so far this year. We'll see if Ethan can pull the rabbit out of the hat. Eddie Haggy sits 9th. David Lakey rounding out our top 10. And Lakey has a good qualifying time. This guy can run a hot lap, but we've got to see some consistency out of the 84. And I think the rest of his team is kind of rally around him here and help push up to the front. I believe Bob Berry, Bill Harkins, Rust Allen, Matt Crockett are a couple of drivers that are going to be looking to help him out there. And speaking of Matt Crockett, 11th position is where he'll be starting next to Connor Gibson. Slow start for Gibson. He's had top 5s here the past couple of weeks. That definitely sets him way back here. He's got to fight his way through a lot of cars to get to his normal top 5 start. Jason Greenwell 13th, Justin Zemeckis 14th. Moving on to Nolan Gross, Logan Murray, and Ricky Hart, which I don't show Ricky Hart taking behind the wheel. Looks like they're going to go around one more time here. Very excited and appreciate you guys joining us here at Simtrax Broadcasting for the Bandit Racing League. Keep your eye out there for Geezer Authentics. We'll be showing you guys a bunch of new stuff that these guys are going to be pushing out there. There's a lot of new merch, especially some of the stuff that we are doing. And see if they've got anything going on. But yes, let's see how Geezer Authentics gets it done. Here we go. Side by side for Curtis Yancey. Yancey's got to squeeze down on him here before Platt starts being able to get any kind of a run. Currently sitting so far right next to him. Yancey does have the lead here. There's the nudge. Now notice how Johnathan Platt is doing. Platt is trying to control the race again. Goes ahead and slams into the 51 there on turn exit of 2. Yancey still holding on. First time Yancey getting the lead lap here. Johnathan Platt may not let that go very quickly here. He's going to be right back on him. Does not want to waste any time. All right, still holding pace here. Looking to see if he's got anything left for him. As Yancey way to the outside. That gets him out of shape. Nickerson has got to take his chance and make his shot. Freshest tires are in the first 15 laps. After that, we start marking them down, and they start losing a ton of life. If Nickerson can get up front, he can control the race, and then he can set the tire wear. A whole lot of mirror driving, but somebody's got to get the nose out in front. Yancey drops back to third. Bill moves up one as Bob Berry shuffles back outside the top 5. Rough start here for Bob Berry. Bob Berry sat in 4th, now down to 6th. Man on the move is Connor Gibson. Talked a little bit about a crummy qualifying time. He now sneaks into the top 10. Good job there by the 31. Hopefully at some point we will be able to see him come back. Let's check in on Eddie Aggie. Aggie working a little hard there on Kevin Foster. Kelly Quill is going to be rooting on the 8 to come back and bite again. Foster drops down 1. As Eddie Haggy now gains his 2nd one here of the night. Nickerson keeping it to within a 1/4 of a second off our leader. Maybe even closer. Nickerson starting to get a run. Nickerson getting pretty close. Looks like Bill Harkins getting a little bit loose there. Harkins feeling pretty tough. Not doing such a bad job at all. We'll sit shotgun with him here. Great job here by Bill. You see that car looking very solid out there. He's working real hard. He continues his charge. Right now I think Bill would love to have a podium position here. He does stumble a little bit when he gets up front. The 58 is starting to take a peek underneath there. Everybody hopes that this may be a multi-line track. I think it's going to be very difficult to consider staying on the outside. Already huge backup here, about a 1.5 seconds back is going to be Jason Greenwell. That's where we find Nolan Gross, Justin Zemecki. And then we look another 1.5 seconds back from there where we find Logan Murray. David Lakey had some trouble. And Lakey's now gone from 10th to 16th. Definitely lay down that qualifying lap. We got to get Lakey more consistent here. Ricky Hart not being out there in the race. This definitely hurts a little bit for Lakey. As I'm showing Ricky Hart, I think, is firing off here. The 28 machine will join us here tonight. That gives us 17 drivers on the track, only 16 were on the lead lap. Currently, as they continue charging forward, over 7.5 seconds back is David Lakey. Times run here at the track are about that 17.25. As Bill Harkins may have had a bad turn. Harkins now sending it too wide here. They'll be side by side here with Rust Allen. Allen going to have a good run as he continues to charge. Look how Bob Berry's handling his car. We'll sit along inside his car. That's Eddie Haggy in the 97 who was inside. Bob Berry holding a good line here. I've got to admit, the way these cars are looking, it is looking a heck of a lot more solid this week than it has in the past weeks. Drivers aren't having to jerk around a whole bunch. I know Kevin Foster had some steering wheel problems during practice earlier today. So I made contact with the wall a couple of times, and his steering wheel was definitely giving him some trouble out there. But he definitely holds on. Eddie Haggy wheeling it. Now Eddie Haggy has to be careful as he is hung on the inside line. Those tires are going to start getting too hot. And that's going to cause him to start skating around out there. So Eddie Haggie's got to be careful here. So keep an eye on him. So moving through. Bill Harkins drops back down to his original qualifying position of 5th. And it looks like Yancey is trying to find some sort of groove here to see if they can overcome Johnathan Platt. This may be an old Johnathan Platt race again if these guys don't attack. Pretty odd, though, if they think they can wait him out here with the tires. But we have yet to see anything go as well as this race here so far. Rust Allen is now up to 4th. As you see him taking a nice wide swing coming out of these turns. Might be trying to do a little bit of tire savings there as everybody is a lot more aggressive down on the bottom. Bob Berry's moved back a few positions. Now he kind of, he's occupying that 7th position. It gives him a 3-position drop, unfortunately. Some of these guys are staying on track. They are losing a slight bit of time out there. Last lap time for Johnathan Platt was at a 17:66. As they keep shuffling around, I think Nolan Gross is overcoming Jason Greenwell. That's going to give these two an opportunity to possibly find another second under their belt. That means they've shaved off half. And they are now catching up to Matt Crockett, who's dropped off the table. Hope for the best and see if Nolan Gross and Jason Greenwell can pick up the slack out there. I believe Eddie Haggie is going to be our driver who's around out there as our first caution comes out here of the night. 28 laps run under green. You guys have got to be excited about that. Got tons of green flag laps there as they chew them off. Now caution laps should not count here. Eddie Haggie gets in a tangle up here. We'll see how the 97, what happens to him. Remember I said earlier he was getting in a little too hot. Yeah, the 97 rides on up. I think he's just glazed that right side tire. Best thing I think Eddie Haggie can do, he's going to head on down into pit road. His crew is going to check out to see how that car is looking. And will anybody else decide to take tires? Looks like David Lakey's going to bite. David Lakey coming on in the 84. So Patsy Steele, we're hoping to root on David Lakey out there. Maybe Lakey will be able to fire through the rest of the field. Got to be pretty quick on this pit stop here if you're going to be taking 4 tires. So everybody out there, and if anybody tunes back in from the league here to listen back into the broadcast, everybody's pretty happy about you guys running a ton of green flag laps. Robin Allen is happy, even Patsy Steele is rooting on a green flag stint. We appreciate that. We had some actual racing out there. Guys were able to kind of set each other up. You notice how a couple passes were happening there in the back, but still unchanged here. For Johnathan Platt, leading this race. Nickerson still sits second. Yancey's third. I will say, kind of an odd situation. We have a chat with Nickerson there earlier in the race. His consideration is to maybe offset pit and try to take tires. Kind of sounds like a little bit like insanity. Hopefully they'll be able to get Johnathan Platt and catch him off guard here at some point. All right, drivers go around one more time. Go ahead and get everything squared away here. Drivers double stacking here. Connor Gibson actually holding the hard charger here so far of the race. He's now at 8th. I would say with Yancey, I would almost put the nose right there on the 43 and push. Because 43 is going to start when he wants to start, and he's gone. All right, Bill Harkins, after getting those tires cooled off, takes a quick bite and puts Rust Allen right back in the rear view, but Rust Allen is fighting back. Can do. Rust Allen looking to see if he can grab him on turn exit speed. He's not going to have him, though. But he's going to be able to fight him into the turns. Oh, Bill Harkins, there's the slip up. Right off the edge there. No, gets just a little bit of that apron that hardly exists. And something tells me Bill Harkins might be having a problem. Looks like the 31 of Connor Gibson getting ready to come up and touch him. Those two have been in cahoots already this season. Battle still continues for these two here in 7th. And we are back under caution. 1-2. Yeah, Robin Allen's hoping for a little bit more action out there on the track. Maybe Yancey give it a nice little shove. I would say they may have to narrow down where the restart zone is. That time it almost looked like pace car was off and he reached the start line. I guess that would possibly be a restart line. So heartbreaking for some of these guys out there. We'll see what happens to Matt Crockett. See what happens under our second caution here of the night. I don't know if they're going to say that's a racing incident. The two of them were right next to each other when that unfolded. Watch how Zemecki isn't turning yet. Yeah, Zemecki decides to take a little bit higher of a line. Now, I don't know consistently if that's where his line has been run. If so, then it was the 15 came down, but I really can't point fingers or say for certain if that is exactly what's going on out there. All right. We'll get ready to get this back underway. We'll definitely float something out there. There may be a possibility we may see the return here of Marshall Crocker. I heard he's been sniffing around down in pit road a little bit, considering if he's thinking about giving these cars a run. Give it a one for the go there. And getting back at it. Somebody else who was not out here, Jackson Knock, out there in the 00. Expected to see him out here. This would have been the fast track for him. Restart goes. Now from where us sitting with such a higher perspective, you would think, all right, Curtis Yancey has seen where the 43 is going to start. With being on the outside line, you could actually hit the gas sooner on this restart. I would try to tree him right here at the line. See how Yancey doesn't take off there? As long as the 43 crosses the line first. If I were Yancey, I'd already gunned it. So unfortunately, that's going to allow him to get away here. chance. He's starting to give it a little door tap here to Nick Nickerson, who's holding on that bottom line still. Yancey would like to be able to fight back down, and he does. The two Perfect Shine Autospot cars from GFR are now lining up. Russ Allen still fighting it, though. He hangs out there on the outside. Glad to see Russ Allen here in the lead. Getting a new face, new name. He's out here doing an awesome job. Currently still sitting in 5th. Harkins now sits behind him, as Harkins had been fighting him off quite some time. Let's roll back here to Nolan Gross. That caution, that definitely helped our guys in the back. Nolan Gross getting bumped there a little bit by Connor Gibson. Doesn't seem to be hurting anybody. Justin Zemecki almost into the wall on there on the outside. He blinks out because of it. And we are continuing this run here. Currently look at right now down on the bottom is Eddie Hagge. Definitely smoked the tires off that thing, puts a fresh set on, and he's going to re-attack. That's Hagge working there with David Lakey. Lakey getting close, getting that left front tire close to the 97, makes a bump to him. That's going to get David Lakey out of shape here. Here's right off David Lakey's machine there. Boom. Bumps him again. David Lakey currently sitting there in 13th. Set our sights here on Connor Gibson. Looks like Bob Berry is bumped to the outside. Zemecki's going to have to hold close there. The Sour Patch Kid blinks out again. It looked like Eddie Hagge is taking that peek here. So if he can fight it here to the inside, let's see. Good angle here, the right front tire. General idea where everything is. There it was. See that little spike in the gas. Eddie Hagge saw the opportunity, gives it a little gas and punches it. And that goes ahead and lets him slip on by Bob Berry there. Eddie Hagge may have to slow his roll down here a little bit. Definitely see how he's seesawing in and out of these turns. Starting to dive in real early. And you don't want to go down there and scrub where we saw Bill Harkins nail there on the inside of that apron. Gives these guys a little bit of trouble. Connor Gibson, yep, he's going to hold to the inside. Boy, he's feeling real comfortable there. Doesn't seem to be any problems out of that 31. As Eddie Hagge slices through up to 6th. Putting tires on was Eddie Hagge at lap number 30. And Johnathan Platt now starting to put on the distance. As you see up there in the tower, he's almost stretched out to half a second. And caution comes back out. That gets wiped because the number 4 car of Logan Murray is our driver around. Hoping Logan Murray and Ricky Hart didn't get into this again. Whoa! So Logan Murray bringing out the caution, but it looks like way after Ricky Hart gets sent here. Here's the spin out. Ricky Hart. Oh, he lets off the gas like he gets into him. Yeah, Robin Allen, I think you've got the right idea. It's got to be right there at the start. And if they don't get him right off the beat, the drop of that flag. Unfortunately, the guy's gone by that point. So third caution out here for the night. Been steadily a cleaner race than most. Definitely making it easier for Dalton Kilrup. Appreciate all you guys joining us here for the broadcast. Thompson Speedway is next week. And we're going to see if Johnathan Platt's going to go 5 for 5 here. All right. This being a 150 lap race, we're going to be stopping at lap number 70 for a scheduled stop. Now we'll get these guys. Robin Allen saying, yeah, all 10 people. Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, we're having a little stumble here on some of the people joining. And normally, I believe we get at least, unfortunately, I think 7, or at least the drivers. And we are having trouble reaching out to get the other people. If you see it, go ahead and start sharing. Get other people on board here. It'll get pretty exciting here in the booth when the racing is exciting out there on the track. Johnathan Platt, here we go. All right, that restart just like all the others here. Johnathan Platt gets away. Curtis Yancey snugs into second as he's desperately trying to hold on to that car off the wall. Had to make a wicked cut there, and looks like Bill Harkins gets sent into the wall. Caution is back out. And I saw the 12 sideways coming through turn 1. I'm almost speechless here. I'm sorry. We're gonna see what gets them a little mixed up here. Notice how Eddie Hagee, yeah, that almost looks like kind of trying to send it in there. Boy, collects a bunch of drivers here. Looks like everybody does fare okay. Yeah, I think Bill may have thought this one may have been kind of a dirty move there, taking a look to the inside. Because you see even Stella's joining us out there, and this is kind of what caught me off guard. So a little unusual for the number 12. So, but short track racing, you know, tempers are going to get up there a little bit. I think everybody pretty wound up after that. All right. Definitely hunting down our drivers, getting them double stacked here. Pace car is on off. Green flag next time by. We recommend that you guys go out there and check out Geezer Authentics. Find your favorite driver. They are slowly peeling out of there. If there's a request, I'm sure there's a way you guys can either message Bill Harkins out there, or you can message here in the chat. Bill always goes back and watches these broadcasts. And if there's a recommendation you would like to see, or a driver that's maybe not up there yet, maybe we can get them pushed to the front of the line. That way you can grab one. I have gotten one shirt from them, and it is a fine quality cotton. I enjoy it. It's definitely nice and soft. We get back under green here. Johnathan Platt off again. Kind of hold my breath here for the first 2 to 3 laps, thinking maybe somebody's going to have something for him, but I think Nickerson and Yancey kind of keep playing back and forth here. Nickerson will be on the outside, and if we have another restart, then Yancey will be starting in second. Rather unfortunate, but we'll see if Kevin Foster can get up there. Looks like he will. Kevin Foster working hard. I see there's some trouble here in the back. This driver's getting 2 and 3 wide. Here's Zemecki. Zemecki taking a look to the inside middle there. Yep, he's gone. He made it through. Nice to the outside, David Lakey. Robin Allen saying so much for taking tires on an off time. Yeah, I would wonder. I mean, I think it's suicide for anybody to pit now. See if anything silly's going on here. I don't know if something's a little offset here. I'm showing there was a problem with Ethan Sikorsky out there in the Crunchyroll machine. Let's see what happens. Whoa. What happened? Caution not come out, I mean. Here's Ethan. Yep, there's the 3 wide. Crockett has to hit the brakes. Ethan Sikorsky goes on around and tries to get out of the way. But then it said Eddie Haggy had a problem out there. not quite sure. But as that caution came out, I think even Matt Crockett goes up there and does something to the 83. Last time I checked. There's Matt Crockett. So there was trouble earlier. Right here. Yeah, I think Matt Crockett's getting in the 83 there because he got tired of getting brake checked. All right, and what is out there? I believe out there, Robin Allen is saying Crunchyroll is not a great name for a race car. Yeah, he used to have, I think anime characters on it. The Crunchyroll, I think, is like an outlet where you can watch anime, I believe. Yeah, I think there's one, character right there in front of the word. So let's see the 94 go ahead and chase these guys. We're back under green. Ethan Sikorsky sitting on back. Only about 5 laps here. All right, everything's staying pretty solid there. Curtis Yancey falling backwards. Yancey's going to start getting himself in trouble. Kevin Foster was able to squeak away. Barry wanted to get just a little more. All the drivers currently, I believe, in the top 8 have not come down in the pit so far. See drivers like that. When you saw Bob Berry get ready to line up there for turn 1, you see how early he started turning in? That jams them up pretty hard when they head in. That causes them to wash up. And that's going to cause problems around Logan Murray. I see Bandit out there. Bill actually saying he's got some stuff going on. Statements need to be made out there for the 97. With Eddie Haggy. Haggy taking a look there to the inside. Yeah, I thought it was kind of a dangerous cut as well, but I think Eddie Haggy was trying to find a weak spot if he could find one there. So, race control in the league. Go ahead and do the usual and sift it out after the race. All right, so as they came to the line, Logan Murray kind of got dumped there. So we'll take a look at Logan Murray. There was some excitement right here at the end. Yeah, Logan definitely trying to get through there. And I think Jason Greenwell didn't see him there to the outside because when the spotter calls outside, that's outside closer to the wall. He was sending it 3 wide, so got the nose in there, and that ended up doing it for him. Rather unfortunate there, but it looks like RC getting to do some divvy out there. And checking out there. Ooh, there's a little insight there. No damage. Yeah, I don't think that's correct. We messed up, I think, last week by counting caution laps. I think this week damage remains off. So drivers are able to bash it off the wall here and there and continue the race. It's a rough run here so far. Most all drivers taking tires and I doubt any fuel, but they may just give it a little splash to make it to the end. And we'll see how all of it unfolds here. Definitely a tough tough run, tough crowd here. Robin Allen. So I say no damage is not off. So that means, remember, they do have a fast repair out there, guys. So if there is some sort of mangling out there that goes on or gets mashed up, one driver, in fact, that we saw get flipped and pushed a couple of times, Eddie Haggy. Logan Murray's gotten some of that damage as well, but looks like he's all square. Yeah, Robin Allen is kind of rooting on the same thing. Somebody's saying, all right, well, if damage isn't going to matter, then go ahead and I'll take that 40 car and push him. Let's see how hard he can go. The guy is controlling the race when he is up there toward the front. Oh, and Stella, I did come up with the name, the open-wheeled modified that I used to call. Caden Tufts was the name. The guy ended up winning, I think, 11 out of 12 races, and he only missed one because he didn't show up. So that was a long time ago. Long time ago. All right, it's pretty wild stuff going out there on the track, and we'll see if we can grab a hold of this guy. I wonder if we got any opportunity out there and see what we can do. Logan Murray, you got a copy?
I have a copy.
Dude, you are getting bumped and banged around out there. Talk to me about what's going on with this race.
Oh my. Okay, I don't even know where to begin here. Car's loose. Car's loose out of 2. Car's loose out of 4. That's really all I can say about that. I was just talking to Lakey about the incident that just happened here coming to the stage break. I saw Connor go out wide, and I didn't really want to shoot that 3 wide, but it just 83. I'm looking at now.
Yeah, it looked like the spotter is going to say outside, but that means outside to the wall. That doesn't mean outside in the middle, and that's what happened.
Yeah, no, I squeezed the 83 too low because I didn't know if Connor was going to come down. That's on me. But car's loose. That's all I really got to say about that. I'm trying to work my way through the field because I know I'm faster than this, but is what it is. See what we can do second half here.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. If I remember right, back at Hickory, man, you were up in the top 3 there for quite some time, and it's been nothing but a battle to try to get back up to the front. You know, I don't know how what's going on. I even talked to some drivers. They were saying it's tight going into the turns, but I could probably agree and follow along with you saying it's loose on the way out. So tight in, loose out, not good. May need these guys to make another adjustment. I know adjustments can be made there during practice races. I know it's definitely something to put in consideration. But what have you and your team up there kind of considering what to do? Because they're kind of getting all bunched up there in the back.
We're trying to survive. We've had some pretty bad luck these past couple races, so we're out here trying to survive. I rode around the first half. I rode around the back. Well, the first half of that half, I rode around the back trying to save my tires. And once everybody had tire issues, I went. And it worked out until that happened. So
I was going to say.
It's survival. It's just survival here.
If you're trying to avoid a caution, figure out a nice, safe way to get through, because the ones behind you are not interested in slowing down. Good luck out there, buddy.
Exactly. Thank you.
See you, buddy. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. All right, Robin Allen out there. How about talking to someone able to get Platt? That is a good joke. That is a good joke. I have not seen anybody able to get Platt. So what in the world do you do? I mean, you can't say, hey, yep, that guy. Yep, hey, this guy. You know, it's not going to happen. I mean, we could say Nickerson could do it. Yancey could do it. You see, right now, Eddie Haggy was trying to see if he can fight his way back up to the front. But it just doesn't seem. It doesn't seem. I don't know who can. I mean, right now, Johnathan Platt in the 43. This guy's got it going on. I mean, it doesn't seem to be anything that can kind of squeeze him here. So maybe we'll have the opportunity. Right now, you know what? All right. We'll do it. We'll see if we got an opportunity here. I know he is out there pacing around a little bit. Curtis, you got a copy on me out there, buddy?
Yes, sir, I do.
All right. Well, Robin Allen out here in the chat is asking for to talk to somebody who has the chance of beating Platt out there. This guy's got these restarts down. What can we do to try to catch this guy, man?
Hopefully not burn the right front tire off the car like it did the last run. It was hanging on. Pretty sure there was some torch showing. If I can keep the right front on the car and somehow save the tires a little bit better than I did, I think we'll have a good shot at it.
All right, Johnathan is able to control the race because he is in the front. From the outside line, would it be easier for you guys to go ahead and take off? We know that go line is the white line, but you were on the outside. Unfortunately, he is able to jump out to almost a quarter second, if not a half a second lead right there in the front. What are you guys doing to combat that?
Without burning the right front off the car and heating up the tires and just going slower, not a whole lot. You know, you're just going to have to time the restart here. It kind of goes a little bit towards the mid to late in the box, so that's kind of a good way to judge it. Hopefully you can time the restart here good, get up side by side with them, get out in front of them out of two, and control the race from there.
All right. Guys might be held up for another lap. I see Ethan Sikorsky having to go around. I don't know what's going on here. Weird.
Yeah,
all
I think
right.
iRacing's having a little technical problem with the caution lights.
Yeah, it's kind of a meltdown here because it looked like the 94 was getting a lucky dog on the way around, but now he's up there in the front. So the mix-up continues. All right, Curtis, it's going to be pretty tough. I talked to Nickerson before the race, and we were kind of considering the same thing. If it would be an idea to, run and gun it right here at the beginning and see if you guys can give it a go. Give it the first 10 or 15 laps. You may have to smoke that tire off, but then go back out there and let it rip.
Yeah. You could also, if we get a time caution correctly, get another set of tires and start hauling the mail on some new tires when everyone else sells some old tires. Not a whole lot of cars, so it's possible, but everything's an option right now.
Okay. I've seen you and Nickerson have tried that before and not come up very fruitful. All right, good luck out there, buddy.
Thanks, sir.
All right, we'll send Curtis Yancey back to the ESR team where he belongs. He's going to be ready to go here. Currently, Ethan Sikorsky is sitting in that number one spot. I think they're going to try to push him around here. See if they lucky dog him. Yep, there he goes. Well, Robin Allen, if this is a driveway for the 43, I've still got another, let's see, on the track, another 14 other drivers we can take a peek at, so have no fear. So, caution laps, really not counting here. Stage brake did come out. Restart is not yet. Sikorsky. All right, us having to do some of these skip laps here and dragging the cautions out is causing a little bit of trouble. iRacing can't quite figure out what it needs to do to satisfy the lineup we are trying to achieve. Getting a little bit off pace here. You end up being the tail end. You've got to help figure out what's going on here in the back. So, all right, it's Sikorsky. Hopefully we're getting ready to hit under green here. Line coming up. There he goes. Fresh tires for everybody. Here we go in the front. Kevin Foster going to try to give it a go. Looks like he gets way down there on the apron. Might have to be fighting that car a little bit here. Foster in the front. Yancey gives him a nudge. And now Foster is trying to make the clean break. Yancey is fast there on the outside. Not having any opportunity. Look how Yancey's got that turn exit speed. He's talking about not burning up that right front tire. He's got to be careful there, way on the outside. Yancey drops back, loses not one but two positions. And, okay, I thought David Lake here, Jason Greenwell has a problem here. Caution is not out, though. Driver's going backwards there on the track. Caution needs to come out. Holy cow. Jason Greenwell is sideways, facing the wall, backs up for the people to get through. And these guys are blazing at over 90 miles an hour coming right at him before iRacing throws the caution here. That was at the start. That was at the end of this last run. And here's Jason Greenwell this time. Looking to see if... that's when I decided to throw the caution. Trying to see if there's the same issue here. Oh, Zemecki blinks out, the 83 let off. See if Jason Greenwell has been divvied a black flag here. We'll see if he is having to serve a drive-through. He may be up to a bunch of incident points here. Tons of crazy stuff going on, unfortunately. So out there we're seeing a lot of drivers starting to get it pretty, coming up with some attitudes out there. Bill Harkin's one of them out there with the 97 car. I think the 83 and Logan Murray are getting ready to throw some hands here in a little bit. Justin Zemecki blinking out like that. I would say that's some trouble with Justin Zemecki. I think David Lakey's been having some blinking problems as well. Eddie Haggie's trying to fight his way through to sit 12th. Matt Crockett and David Lakey are actually back in their qualifying positions of 10th and 11th. All right, green flag this time by. Johnathan Platt probably going to get off to another stellar restart here. Notice how that racing line there, you see by Curtis Yancey. Yancey is taking that opportunity there to drive to the outside just a little bit so you get a better turn entry. You see Yancey is thinking ahead a little bit there as he's tucked in behind Kevin Foster. Foster right now jamming up that bottom lane. You can see Yancey wants to fly, but he's not going to have the opportunity as Nickerson's caught on the outside. JFR Racing Team is blocking the field here, sitting second and third. I think they're wishing this thing was about 5 to go. This would be great for a 2-3 finish out of those two. I think they would prefer a 1-2 finish. That is not going to happen as currently these two side by side has allowed Platt to get away by 3/4 of a second and is continuing to grow. Johnathan Platt showing how to stretch the legs out on that car. He is not slowing down. Something tells me Johnathan Platt runs about 70% out there. So these guys are running at 100, 110% trying to run this guy down. All right, Curtis Yancey to the inside here. Good move, bumps Foster to the outside. No contact was made, just Foster gets out of line. Just snaps that rear end around there and goes ahead and lines that car up for turn number 3. That's going to allow Connor Gibson to get a good run here to the inside line. And Foster may be stuck on the outside, rolling on backwards. Right now, Connor Gibson did start all the way outside the top 10. You can see if he can grow from that 12th position start that he had. Currently at his, yep, that's Kevin Foster there to the inside. Excuse me, Foster to the outside, that's Connor Gibson to the inside. This is the 58 here of Rust Allen. Notice that trail braking a little bit there, drags into that turn to try to get some turn speed. Because if they are able to pass Kevin Foster, Rust Allen does not want him to merge down and get in the line. Platt letting off the gas a little bit here, allowing Nickerson to catch up. Johnathan Platt now playing a little bit of tire conservation here. We've got a battle here in the back. Looks like Ethan Sikorsky finally making the pass here on Jason Greenwell. 94 out there, definitely taking his time and chewing a few extra of these laps off. Check back in there. Connor Gibson and Rust Allen were able to clear Kevin Foster. Yes, Rust Allen off the wall. Johnathan Platt, Nick Nickerson, Curtis Yancey, 1, 2, and 3. Connor Gibson, 4th. Rust Allen making up our 5th position. Rolling on back, we find Kevin Foster, Bob Berry, Logan Murray. Great job. After talking to him, no commentator curse there. He's slicing here to the inside, looking for 7th. From Bob Berry as Logan Murray holds on to 8th. David Lakey is 9th, and Justin Zemecki has that 10th position. Everybody kind of aiming for that spot. Taking a look to the inside is going to be Eddie Haggie. Battle is happening here in the back. Huge shuffle up in the field, though. Everything showing. The entire field just flip-flopped here. There we go. Definitely gets super mixed up out there when we do not count caution laps. All right, everything's settling down there just a little bit. Talking earlier about Logan Murray fighting there up to the front. Logan Murray is currently sitting at 13th. It was after our little mix-up out here. I thought his place was pretty high, especially for the amount of time. Bob Berry sits in 7th. David Lakey is in 8th. Justin Zemecki 9th. Aggie is 10th. Matt Crockett 11th. Nolan Gross sits 12th. Logan Murray is 13th. Jason Greenwell in the 14th position. It's showing that was the car we tripped out on first. And then it showed all our cars wrecked right after that. Starting with Platt, Nickerson, Foster, and Yancey. Hunter Gibson and Russ Allen. Squashed all those guys. Logan Murray's falling on back here. I wonder if Logan Murray's got a problem out here. Logan Murray in the 4. Something happened. This was earlier. Try to keep our eye on the 4 here. He's rolling out of our screen. Yeah, he's got something going wrong here. Number 4 not merging down. He's staying way high on purpose here. So he was up there with Bob Berry sitting in 8th. And he falls all the way back down to 14th. Logan Murray sitting about 7 seconds from going a lap down here. All right, our front 3 have gotten away from the rest of the field. So it's about a second and a half between 3rd and Connor Gibson. Looks like a little game to follow the leader out here. The next umpteen some laps. Currently we're trying to find a couple of drivers who might be fighting amongst each other. Looks like Justin Zemecki is taking a look. Logan Murray coming down pit road. So there's a problem. J3 Motorsports is down a driver. As they work their way on back. Nickerson pulling within a quarter of a second of Johnathan Platt. Platt does not feel he's under fire at all so far. Robin Allen saying that not always the case. All right. Let's see out here. Robin Allen. We can have a chat out here just a little bit. You see a little bit of fighting out there on the track. And then Kevin Foster is trying to do some work. Logan Murray looks like he makes a 4-tire pit stop. Interesting. So I see Patsy Steele is out there rooting on the 84. You know, Patsy Steele's pretty tight out there with the The 84 machine there of David Lakey. We know Kelly Queel is out there for Kevin Foster. Robin Allen. Who are you for? Who is your driver? See how all this holds up here. The two drivers we've taken it back to the garage. There's Ricky Hart and Bill Harkins. Harkins starting in the top 5 up there. He'll be finishing in 16th. Ethan Sikorsky has turned it in here tonight. Made it 90 laps in. Having to march on out 3 laps down sits Logan Murray now. After that 4-tire pit stop. Back on lap 105. After a heartbreaking run here for Logan Murray. Thought he was doing a heck of a job, but then it almost seemed like the tire just fell off the car. These two have been going at it for quite some time. David Lakin and Justin Zemecki. I seem to hold it off pretty good here. Don't forget to check out Geezer Authentics out there. Hopefully we'll have the opportunity to open up another window, have us playing. Nothing too crazy going on out here on the track other than Matt Crockett riding way high. Crockett gives up, I believe, 2, almost 3 positions now. And now Jason Green will be looking to take over the 15. They look to see how it's going. Robin Allen. All right, so you say Victor's not here and Brandon's not here, yet you still show. Appreciate you showing up and listening in and tuning into the broadcast. I would love to know, how'd you find us? Definitely something to take note of out there. Jason Greenwell looking to send Matt Crockett to the dead last spot of drivers on the lead lap. And under fire is David Lakey here. Lakey trying to make sure he can keep Zemecki behind him. Less than 30 laps to go. Johnathan Platt playing the battle against time now. Right now, the hardest battle he's had all night is consciousness. Right now, Johnathan Platt continues to stay up front in the #1 spot. A couple of fans out there will be buying some 43 shirts as this guy is Zemecki. All right. Set up Johnathan Platt out there. Put him in only, odd gears. He can only run first and third. Oh, David Lakey. Getting a nudge there by Zemecki. Well, it's kind of a cruel joke out here, but the two guys who unfortunately end up disconnecting, blinking out there, nudging each other. That'd be the 100% circle there for iRacing netcode. No, it made it sound like I had a problem. All right. Platt still here in the front. Zemecki's close. These are the two closest drivers out here by a quarter of a second. So nobody out there is really putting any moves on anybody out there. With 20 laps to go, they are quickly running out of time. Hitting about 2.5 laps a minute. Something's going on with Logan Murray's car here. I think I just saw him make contact with the wall a couple of turns ago. Some huge separation here. Currently, we are looking at Johnathan Platt and Nick Nickerson have broken away from the field by about 2 seconds. And then we find Yancey and Foster back here, sitting 3 and 4. Yeah, you wouldn't think. Back here for podium position, 3 and 4. And then we roll back another 4 seconds to find Connor Gibson, who's in the 5th position. So from 1st to 5th, is a 6.5 second gap, which is pretty righteous, man. That is definitely a huge separation. If we want to talk 1st to 10th, we're looking at 12 seconds. Right now, drivers going laps down here. Russ Allen and Matt Crockett are in pits. With 16 to go. I wonder if somebody's starting to think there might be a late caution here. I would say even so, pitting under green can guarantee you at least 2 laps down. And is it worth being 2 laps down out there? There's Russ Allen passing Matt Crockett there. That's for the 12th position. 14 to go. I guarantee you, Johnathan Platt, even if the caution were to come out, this guy will not pit. This guy has 1 pit stop in him a night, and that is at the scheduled break. I know there are a lot of things they could try to change up here to see if they can mix it up out there on Johnathan Platt and set him up wrong. Say if you end up taking this race and squashing it a little bit out there. Here comes Eddie Hagge to the inside of Bob Berry. Hagge now up to 7th. You can set this race up where there's maybe no halfway break and see if you can catch Johnathan Platt upside down out there on maybe some pit strategy. But it seems racing and racecraft is just not going to happen. Looking to see if anybody's got any kind of a run here. It looks like Connor Gibson might be getting a little work done to him there as David Lakey makes a nice pass for 5th. We slide up to find out what he's doing. I think Bob Berry might have burned his stuff up here. Bob Berry heading back to 10th. Barry's got a little time, though. Leaders will be catching him, though. That's currently Nolan Gross. He just had the leaders pass him. Here comes Johnathan Platt. He's riding on top of his car with 5 laps left to go. Late race. Connor Gibson has been delivered the meatball flag out there as he's got damage too much to continue. Hard shot to the wall here. Right front tire. Try to see what happened here to Connor Gibson. Does Eddie Haggy get under him? Eddie Haggy makes the pass. And it says a few laps later here. Gibson having some trouble here. Zemecki to the outside. Yeah, Connor Gibson's all over the place here. Alrighty, Johnathan Platt for the race win. Nick Nickerson sits second, Kevin Foster is third. No surprise there. So we'll see how all it goes. That does bring us our third place driver, Kevin Foster. Let's go ahead and wrap this up, buddy. Tons of racing out here. Seemed kind of single file line out there. What's going on? Uh-oh.
You know, hell of a show, and man, I'm flat wore out. I did not expect to, but I'm thankful that we went green for all that stint and saved a little bit in the beginning, and just didn't have enough to catch him.
Yeah, very, very tough out there. You know, what is it going to take to beat this guy?
I have no idea how many thousands of dollars it's going to take to beat this guy. You know, don't wife, but I went ahead and so I got with Nick Nickerson. He's like, yeah, you need all this stuff for iRacing. Hopefully you'll pick up a tenth or two. So, honey, I'm sorry if you're listening. I did spend like $8,000 on some new sim equipment just to beat Platt. So, yeah, so I don't know how many thousands of dollars or what it's going to take to beat this guy. But, man, he is lights out. And, man, congratulations to him.
Awesome. Well, it's going to be my broadcast. She's going to now boycott out there because you just rat yourself out on here. All right, Kevin, go ahead and shout out, buddy.
You know, first off, you know, thank each and every one of the men and women in this league. You know, Simtrax, thank you guys for broadcasting it. It's just an honor to, you know, come out here on Wednesday nights and just showcase our talent. We get to hang out with friends and, you know, all the GFR guys, Perfect Shine Auto Spa. Thank them for coming on board, sponsoring the league, sponsoring my car, Nick's car, Ricky's car is coming soon. And, man, just having a blast and really enjoying this Wednesday night race here in the Bandit Racing League, and man, I couldn't be happier. And yeah, just wish I was a couple spots better, but you know, hats off to Platt and Nick. They drove a heck of a race, and just wish I was there.
All right, man. Well, we'll definitely be kind of holding our breath, seeing that your luck is finally slowing down. You know, you last year you were nothing but a mangled mess. And the year before that, you were a mangled mess. But it seems everything's finally cleaning up for you, and I think these are the finishes I think you and I were expecting. But glad to see you coming out on top here, buddy. Another podium finish, and good luck to you. We'll see you at Thompson Speedway.
Absolutely. See you guys there, and thanks everyone for out there watching the broadcast. It really means a lot to us. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Kevin. All right, that moves us on to Nick Nickerson, who is our second-place finisher here. Dude's on a roll. Started second, finished... finished second, started third. Now we got one position out there. We still have one more to go. You were thinking about bumping him at all?
Not really, man. I didn't really want to do it. I feel like I had something towards the end there that I could have maybe got underneath them. I don't know if I would have been able to make it pass by any means, but I don't know. That was fun, man. That was hard fought. I mean, I don't know about Platt, but I was almost out of tire there at the end, and I was just pushing as hard as I could those last 5, use up what I had left. But yeah, I almost had it, but we'll see. Give it a shot again next week.
All right, part-time, buddy. So we're going to see you next week.
Yeah, I should be around.
Beautiful. Thompson Speedway. Confidence level heading in there to maybe take Platt down?
Dude, I don't think I've ever raced at Thompson, to be honest. So
I don't think I've ever seen it. So something tells me I'm going to be in the store here in a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's like a very paperclip-like track where it has high banking, but it's like, kind of like long straightaways, short corners, short radius corners, but high banking. So we'll see. Might be a good opportunity for some dive bombs.
There you go. Well, we saw one dive bomb tonight, and it did not go well. I can't imagine how the radio heated up out there. Yeah, I played a replay of it, and that might have been my mistake. Nick, shout-out time.
Man, just Perkshire and Autospa, Kevin, Bill, all the admins, everybody that races. Appreciate you putting on the broadcast, man. I'll see you next week.
All right, Nick. Good luck to you out there, buddy.
All right, take care.
All right, that do it. And Johnathan Platt, another one down. And I would say, yeah, this brings me way back. John, we got here 5 for 5, man. I know we got a tough time out here racing at Five Flags Speedway. You've got these restarts down. I'm hoping you're going to come back here in just a moment as we are ready to go, John. The 43 car cannot be stopped. Give it a second. Yeah, I think John might have stepped away. Long race, and not having to pit or anything going on with that sort of issue out there. But awesome job here by Johnathan Platt. Cannot seem to be stopped. Appreciate you guys joining us here at Simtrax Broadcast. I know it's kind of a follow the leader race, but I'm hoping a lot of things will kind of come about, and these guys will be able to. Somebody's going to have a chance. And I got a feeling that time is going to be very, very soon. And we're definitely going to hold our breath and see if Thompson Speedway. Keep an eye out there. I'll be chucking out the bounty out there into a couple of these rooms, see if we can get some new faces to run this guy down. Normally, once you get money out there, that's when people start showing up. That's when people are ready to go for it. But $20 isn't doing it. So we may have to up the ante a little bit and get them back at it. But from all us here at Simtrax Broadcasting, bringing you the Bandit Racing League here on Wednesday, I will see you guys next Wednesday. Be well, be safe, be kind. We'll see all you guys next time.